All right, let's dive in. We're going to talk about a massive but kind of quiet revolution that's brewing in an industry that, let's be honest, touches all of our lives, non-life insurance. And I want you to forget everything you think you know about it, because artificial intelligence, well, it's not just making small tweaks here and there, it's getting ready to completely tear up the old playbook and rewrite the very concept of risk.
So that leads us to the big question, right? How is AI actually going to change non-life insurance? Well, we're going to break this whole thing down into 3 phases. And trust me, each one gets more mind-blowing than the last.
Okay, here's our roadmap. First up, we'll look at the present, what I'm calling the era of efficiency with AI. Then we'll jump into the near future, the era of intelligence with AGI. After that, things get wild with the far future, the era of risks end with ASI. And we'll wrap it all up by looking at the final form of insurance, where it basically becomes a guardian.
All right, let's get into phase 1, the era of efficiency. This is what's happening right now, up until around 2030. We're talking about ANI, or Artificial Narrow Intelligence. And really, the name of the game here is simple, making everything we already do just way, way faster and a whole lot more accurate. So what is ANI, really? You can think of it like a super specialized tool. It's an AI that's a genius at one single thing. And in the world of insurance, that one thing is crunching just enormous amounts of real-time data. We're talking everything from live weather feeds to the tiny sensors inside your car. Now, here's why that's such a game changer. It flips the whole model on its head. Instead of just paying you after something bad happens, it's all about predicting and preventing that bad thing from happening in the first place. And of course, this completely changes how your insurance gets priced. It used to be that your premium was based on these big, clunky, static buckets, like your age or your zip code. But with ANI, no way. Pricing becomes dynamic. It's hyper-personalized. It's constantly adjusting based on how you actually drive, the real-time weather on your commute, and tons of data from all those IoT sensors out there. The impact on you, the customer, is just huge. Think about the claims process. Everybody dreads it, right? Well, that's being replaced with what's called the touchless claim. So imagine you get into a little fender bender. Instead of a mountain of paperwork and phone calls, you just pull out your phone, snap a picture of the damage, and that's pretty much it. The Ana looks at the photo, figures out the repair cost in seconds, and boom, the payment is on its way.
So what's the result? A process that used to take days, sometimes weeks of back and forth is now done in minutes. And this isn't just about making things more convenient, it's about taking away so much of the stress and anxiety from what's already a pretty awful situation.
This incredible efficiency is creating totally new competitive battlegrounds for insurers. It's not just about who has the cheapest price anymore. The real competition is about who's the best at preventing the loss in the first place, like warning a factory that a machine is about to fail. It's about who can seamlessly embed insurance right at the point of purchase, say when you're booking a flight. And of course, who has the sharpest AI that can spot fraud in milliseconds.
Okay, let's shift gears and look ahead. Starting around 2030, we enter phase 2, the era of intelligence. This is all about AGI, or Artificial General Intelligence. And folks, this is where things get really interesting. We're not just talking about doing things faster anymore. We're talking about a massive cognitive leap, where AI begins to think in ways that are fundamentally new.
AGI is basically the kind of AI you see in the movies. It's an intelligence that can understand, learn, and apply knowledge to solve pretty much any problem, just like a human can. But here's the absolute crucial difference. AGI understands causation. It gets the why behind things, not just the what. It moves past simply seeing that two things are correlated and actually understands the cause and effect relationship between them.
And this example makes that difference crystal clear. Let's say you're speeding, and ANI, our current AI, just sees the data. It says, okay, speeding correlates with a higher risk of accidents. Premium goes up. Simple pattern recognition. But in AGI, it can understand the context. It might figure out, wait a minute, the car's route is headed directly to the nearest emergency room. This is likely a medical emergency. Suddenly, the context completely changes the risk assessment. The AGI understands the reason for the speeding, not just the act itself.
Now, this ability to reason, it changes everything. The competition among insurers shifts from being about speed to being about judgment. Suddenly, an AGI can do things that were impossible before. It could logically figure out how to price insurance for something brand new, like flying cars, where there's zero historical data to look at. It could act like an impartial judge to determine fault in a really complex accident, or even negotiate a settlement with another AGI. It could even become a strategic risk consultant, advising a huge corporation on everything from supply chain weak spots to geopolitical turmoil.
So what you're seeing is this incredible leap in value. With ANI, the value is all about speed and accuracy. With AGI, it's about judgment and genuine problem solving. Preventing risk goes from just giving you a warning about something weird to providing deep, strategic advice on how to avoid it altogether. And get this, customer interaction goes from just getting an automated offer to your personal AGI agent negotiating on your behalf with the insurance company's AGI. How crazy is that?
All right, buckle up. We're now going to jump even further into the future, to 2040 and beyond. This is Phase 3, the era of risk's end, and it's powered by ASI, or Artificial Superintelligence. This is where things get almost philosophical, because the entire concept of insurance as we've known it for centuries just starts to dissolve.
So what is ASI? It's been described as, get this, an omniscient, omnipotent guardian that brings uncertainty in the physical world to zero. I mean, just let that sink in for a second. We're talking about an AI whose entire purpose is to make uncertainty itself obsolete. It's a truly profound, world-altering idea.
But what does that actually mean in practice? It means we've moved way beyond just predicting risk. With an ASI in charge, accidents are no longer just probabilities you try to manage. They become determined outcomes that can be actively, erased from reality before they even have a chance to happen.
You might be thinking, how is that even possible? Well, it comes down to two key things. First, something called deterministic prediction. Imagine an AI that can simulate our physical world so perfectly, down to the molecular level, that a car crash is no longer a chance event. It's a calculated, determined future. And second, physical intervention. Think about swarms of nanomachines that can stop a fire the instant it ignites, or a computer network that can quarantine itself before a cyber attack is even launched. In a world like that, you're not paying a premium for risk anymore, you're just paying a system maintenance fee to guarantee a zero-damage life. So when you step back and look at this whole journey, what have we really seen? We've watched a simple financial product evolve into something that could become the fundamental safety infrastructure for all of human civilization. And this table really lays out the entire transformation perfectly. You see the value source evolve from ANI's speed and accuracy to AGI's judgment and empathy, all the way to ASI's complete control. Risk prevention goes from just spotting anomalies to strategic prevention to actual physical intervention. And look at the very definition of insurance. It morphs from simple financial compensation to an intelligence that manages uncertainty to finally becoming an environment that literally erases accidents. I mean, what an incredible trajectory.
And all of this leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. We started this journey with a pretty simple financial tool, one designed to help us manage uncertainty. And we've ended up in a potential future where accidents, and maybe uncertainty itself, are just engineered out of existence. A world where the very concept of insurance has vanished, not because it failed, but because it succeeded so completely that the risks it covered are just gone. So you have to ask yourself, what kind of future is that?